New Directions for Women presents From Addiction to Recovery, Inspirational Stories of Courage.
Hi, my name's Shay and I'm an alcoholic, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about my story, about where I came from and what happened and how I got here. And a little bit about what it was like was that I was on a spiritual path and I was studying Buddhism and I was doing a lot of meditating, and while I was meditating I was trying to quit drinking. And being on a spiritual path, I recognized that that this was really inhibiting anything that I was doing, any growth I could make, any growth as a human being. Meanwhile, I started having some turbulence in my life, family and otherwise, and I noticed myself, instead of going in that spiritual direction I wanted to go in, drinking more and more and more. And what happened was that it got to the point that I had a friend of mine say, basically, if you don't quit drinking, you're not going to be a good mom. You're not going to be a good mom to this little girl. You're not being a good mom right now. You're not present. You are a wreck, more or less. And so I decided to try to get sober on my own. So I spent about 100 days white knuckling it, bloody knuckling it, more or less. It was really painful. Every day I would wake up and think about my daughter, and I would try to pull through. And eventually I actually scheduled a surgery I probably didn't even really need, just because I wanted to check out so badly. Being sober without a program was horrific. And I think that's when I really kind of understood, you know what, I'm really an addict and an alcoholic. And so so what happened was I went and I got that surgery, and I talked them into staying there for like an extra day and got double prescriptions, and was absolutely beyond checking out any that I had ever checked out in my life. So I was really surprised as my using pretty much doubled in that maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And you know, it was a really scary thing for me to have a 2.5-year-old little girl that I was basically responsible for and that I love more than anything, but to also have this addiction. And so I asked my husband what I should do, where I should go, and we'd actually already talked about it. So I was like, can you help me start making some of these phone calls? And so I took some time off my life, came to treatment, stayed in treatment for 8 months, and was able to, thank goodness, get sober and stay sober for a little over 2 years. Getting sober for me was not just about putting down alcohol or pills. It was, you know, changing the way I lived, changing the principles of my life, the meanings behind things, and really that driving force of my higher power and spirituality in general. Get a lot more out of meditating sober than I did when I was you know, hungover or, you know, toxic. And I also feel like I'm a much better mother today. I'm able to be present and deal with life's challenges head on instead of having to run away from them. So I went to treatment for about 8 months, and I had my beautiful daughter with me. So I was so lucky to do that. I can't imagine having to go to treatment without her. I could have probably gone for 30 days, but I wouldn't have lasted any longer than that without my 2.5-year-old, as we were very close. And the thing I really liked about New Directions too is they didn't make me feel like I was like a bad mom, you know, for coming there. It was that, you know, obviously you want a better life for you and your child, so we're going to treat you like that. And so I felt comfortable having her here. She got wonderful care. And I did my thing and she did her thing, and we came out of it, me sober. You know, she says she's allergic to alcohol too. And she knows the Serenity Prayer, and, you know, she sees the big white vans drive off and she wants in. So I'd like to introduce my daughter Lily to you. Lily, you want to come over to mommy? Come here, baby. Let's get your skirt. This is Lily. Lily, say hi.
Hi.
Lily, let's do the Serenity Prayer together, okay?
Okay.
Okay, God, grant me the serenity. Can you say it with Mama? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. You a little shy today?
Do you know that your mommy's sober?
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
We'll just say that.
I love my mom.
Being a sober mom is actually pretty fantastic. It makes it a little more difficult to get to meetings, but I've been able to find a couple of meetings that we really enjoy that have childcare. So when I'm in the meeting, then Lily gets to go play with her friends, and she can check in with me as she needs to. But so that's kind of what we do as far as that goes. And I have a lot of mommy and sobriety friends and stuff like that. There's even where I live, there's even a speaker meeting that kids under 10 can go to, so she likes to play with the kids during the meeting. I think my bottom was putting my child in danger, and I had one night where my body, I had a seizure basically, and I was by myself and I was very scared, and I was wondering if my child was going to have a mom. And my life today is that I have a lot of friends. I have a wonderful boyfriend. Lily has tons of friends. She goes to school. She's happy. She feels complete. We have great family relations, and I have a wonderful relationship with my higher power. And we have a lot of fun today. I think that's a big part of it too, is that that year that I was struggling the most, I felt so dark, and I hadn't had a horrible life. I actually was a pretty happy person for most of my life, and did a lot of fun things. So that 1 year especially, was so dark and just sort of dismal, and I felt very alone. And there's nothing, I never feel alone now. Every once in a while I want to feel alone, because there's so much action, there's so much going on, and we have so much fun. My daughter has an amazing life. We're living two of the great lives on this planet right now. We're very extremely blessed and lucky to be living in as much love as we're living in. If I had to tell something to anybody struggling with an addiction to alcohol or anything that's in their way, would be to do something crazy. Do something crazy, like change your whole life and go to treatment. Do something that's big. Do something bigger than you are. Because that's what it felt like for me. It felt like, okay, I'm going to give up every little bit of security, my job, my relationship, which wasn't so great anyway, and all of these things to go ahead and be sober and to live a different life. And I'm so glad I did that. And it's made me open to challenges in my own life now, because what can you lose when you're going to get sober? If you're going to get sober, it's worth giving up anything that seems like you can't give it up, because you can. And so I'm living proof that you can walk through anything and just go for it. What do you have to lose?
If you or a loved one are suffering from addiction, please call our caring admissions counselors today at 1-800-93-WOMEN. That's 1-800-939-6636.